Students, myself Sarita Devi, biology lecturer, Government Girls Senior Secondary School, Jandiala. Today we will study lesson 5th, morphology of flowering plants of 11th class, and our topic is flower. We will study this topic under two headings. One is inflorescence and other is parts of a flower. So what is inflorescence? Arrangement of flowers on the floral axis is known as inflorescence. किस तरह flowers ਦੀ arrangement है ਟਾਹਣੀ ਦੇ ਉੱਪਰ ਉਸ ਨੂੰ inflorescence ਕਿਹਾ ਜਾਂਦਾ ਹੈ. ਅਗਰ flowers they are present single, then such kind of arrangement is said to be solitary arrangement. For example, in shoe flower अगर group है flowers ਦਾ then it is known as inflorescence. So natural group of flowers produced on the peduncle ਜਿਹੜੀ ਕਿ floral axis है, that is known as inflorescence. Now we will study two types of inflorescence. One is racemose inflorescence and the other is cymose inflorescence. So in case of racemose inflorescence, the floral axis shows unlimited growth and the flowers are born laterally in acropetal succession. That means older flowers they are at the base and the younger flowers they are on the top. ਇਸ ਤਰ੍ਹਾਂ ਦੀ ਅਰੇਂਜਮੈਂਟ ਨੂੰ ਅਸੀਂ ਐਕਰੋਪੀਟਲ ਗਰੋਥ ਆਰਡਰ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ ਹਾਂ. ਜਿਸ ਤਰ੍ਹਾਂ ਕਿ ਐਗਜ਼ਾਮਪਲ ਹੈ ਇਸ ਦੀ ਕ੍ਰੋਟੋਲੇਰੀਆ, ਕ੍ਰੋਟੋਨ. Now in case of cymose inflorescence ਜਿਹੜੀ floral axis ਹੈ ਉਹ stop ਕਰ ਜਾਂਦੀ ਹੈ growth and here there is a limited growth of the floral axis और terminally floral axis ਤੇ flowers ਲੱਗਦੇ ਹੈ और the arrangement is here is basipetal order. That means the older flowers are at the top whereas younger flowers they are at the base. For example, in Calotropis and Bougainvillea. Now let us see the difference between the racemose inflorescence and cymose inflorescence. Main axis continues to grow in case of racemose inflorescence. In case of cymose inflorescence, main axis terminates in a flower. Growth is unlimited in racemose inflorescence. Growth is limited in cymose inflorescence. In case of racemose inflorescence, the flowers are born in acropetal succession. In case of cymose inflorescence, flowers are born in basipetal succession. Now let us study the significance of inflorescence. Inflorescence makes the flowers conspicuous. That means they are clearly visible to the insects. They become attractive because they are in groups and they are effective for pollination. So inflorescence occurs successively. That means कि immediately one after another flowering ਹੁੰਦੀ ਹੈ और एकदम नहीं सारी flowering हो ਜਾਂਦੀ है. So here the flowering period becomes longer. Also inflorescence enhances the chances of cross pollination or insects in a single visit can pollinate large number of flowers. Inflorescence help करती है in identification and classification of flowering plants also. Now we will study parts of a typical flower. A flower is born on the lateral side of the peduncle at a node in the axil of a leaf-like structure that is known as bract. So the bract protects the flower in bud condition ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਉਹਨੂੰ protection ਦਿੰਦਾ ਹੈ. Flower arising in the axil of bract is known as bracteate flower. So for example, China rose, lily, they are bracteate flowers. A flower without a bract is known as ebracteate flower. For example, in mustard. अगर flowers are borne on a stalk-like structure that is known as pedicel or stalk, the flower is said to be pedicellate. For example, in rose, agar flower they are without pedicel and they are said to be non-pedicellate or sessile. For example, in sunflower florets. Now, what is a flower? It is a modified reproductive part of the plant. It is morphologically compressed fertile shoot with modified leaves or floral leaves which is adapted for the production of fruits and seeds. Flowers तो fruits बनते हैं और fruits ਦੇ अंदर seeds है that has been developed, that are the future plants. So it is very important for the identification of unknown plants. ਜਿਹੜੇ plants ਦੀ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਨਹੀਂ ਪਛਾਣ ਹੈ ਅਸੀਂ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੇ flowers ਤੋਂ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ identify ਕਰ ਸਕਦੇ ਹਾਂ. Now there are 4 floral whorls. So first is calyx, corolla, stamens and pistil. So they are borne on the swollen part of the pedicel that is known as receptacle. Now let us discuss the parts of a flower. So terminal end is swollen and it represents the floral axis called the thalamus. From each node of thalamus, 4 whorls of leaves rise. The 4 whorls are calyx, corolla, androecium and gynoecium. So these are the parts of a flower. Calyx, green part of the flower, corolla, colored petals, androecium, male parts of the flower, gynoecium, female part of the flower. Now let us discuss the main essential and non-essential parts of the flower. Calyx and corolla, they are the non-essential whorls. Androecium and gynoecium, they are the essential whorls of a flower. Now what is complete and incomplete flower? Parts of a flower determine if it is complete or incomplete. Flower which has 4 principal parts, that is sepals, petals, stamens and pistil, that flower is said to be complete. For example, in rose. Incomplete flower does not have all the floral parts. For example, in wheat and oats. Bisexual flowers are those where male and female functional reproductive parts are present. For example, in mustard, rose, petunia. Unisexual flowers are those in which one of the male or female functional reproductive part is present. For example, in corn, papaya and cucumber. If only the male part of the flower is present, then it is known as staminate. If only the female part of the flower is present, then it is known as pistillate flower, for example in cucumbers. Now let us discuss the symmetry of the flowers. There is 3 types of symmetry in a flower. Actinomorphic, also known as radial symmetry, when the flower can be divided into 2 equal radial halves in any radial plane passing through the center. कोई भी रेडियल प्लेन ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਫਲਾਵਰ ਨੂੰ ਕਿਸ ਇਕੁਅਲ ਪਾਰਟਸ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਕੱਟਿਆ ਜਾਂਦਾ ਹੈ ਤੇ ਉਸ ਨੂੰ ਐਕਟਿਨੋਮੋਰਫਿਕ ਫਲਾਵਰ ਕਿਹਾ ਜਾਂਦਾ ਹੈ. ਫॉर एग्जांपल in mustard, datura and chili. Zygomorphic symmetry, bilateral symmetry किया जाता है. when a flower can be divided into two similar halves only in one particular vertical plane, ਇੱਕ ਹੀ plane ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਉਸ ਨੂੰ ਕੱਟਿਆ ਜਾ ਸਕਦਾ ਹੈ, then it is known as bilateral symmetry. For example, in pea, gulmohar, acacia, bean. Asymmetric flowers. Asymmetry means if a flower cannot be divided into similar halves by any vertical plane, then through the center, then it is known as asymmetrical. For example, in kanna. Now these are actinomorphic, zygomorphic, and asymmetrical flowers showing the symmetry. Now we will study relative position of floral parts on the thalamus. Arrangement of the floral leaves on the thalamus varies and it is of the following types. First is hypogynous condition, perigynous condition, epigynous condition. So in case of hypogynous condition, when the various floral parts of the flower are arranged below the ovary, the carpel occupies the central position and the other floral parts are borne below their respective whorls. They are below the ovary. Such flowers are said to be hypogynous, for example in China rose. In this case, the ovary is superior and other floral parts are inferior. Now in case of perigynous condition, if the thalamus is flattened out to form cup-like structure या फिर flask shaped structure या disc shaped structure हो गया thalamus का, gynoecium will be placed not on the top of the flower but in the center. The remaining three whorls of the flower, ਜਿਹੜੀਆਂ ਕਿ calyx, corolla or androecium, they are inserted on the rim of the disc. ਆ rim ਤੇ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਦੀ insertion ਹੁੰਦੀ ਹੈ. Gynoecium lies in the center or tip of the thalamus, therefore it is considered as superior, while ਬਾਕੀ ਜਿਹੜੇ parts ਹੈ they are inferior. So here we can take an example of strawberry and peas and rose, primrose. Now in case of epigynous condition, here in this case thalamus is also hollow या फिर cup shaped structure या plastic shaped structure. Ovary is completely fused with the inner walls of the thalamus. So style and stigma of the gynoecium are visible above the thalamus. ये सिर्फ दिखाई दिंदे है और ਜਿਹੜੇ sepals, petals and stamens, they are borne on the top of the ovary. Here the gynoecium is described as inferior while the other floral parts are considered as superior. Such a condition is known as epigynous condition, for example in sunflower, guava and apple. So here the showing the position of the floral parts on the thalamus. This is hypogynous condition and this is perigynous condition. This is epigynous condition. Now we will study calyx. So calyx is the outermost most whorl of the flower. It is mostly green in color. It protects the developing flower and it is formed of sepals, or all the sepals they will form the calyx. Sepals may be free or they may be united. The symmetry of the calyx is radial or bilateral symmetry. Now calyx is formed of sepals. So if all the calyx they are separate from one another, then the condition is known as polysepalous. For example in rose. Now if the sepals they are united and they are fused with one another या जुड़े हुए हैं, then it is known as gamosepalous. For example, in Polycephalus, in case of rose, Stellaria, in case of Gamopetalus, in Fabaceae flower, it forms a funnel-like structure. Now, this diagram shows Polycephalus, where the sepals are free from each other, Gamocephalus, where sepals are fused with one another. Now, what are the functions of the calyx? It protects the essential whorls from injury. It is green in color, helps in photosynthesis. Calyx provides support to the thalamus and other floral parts. It attracts the insects for pollination. Some calyx, they are hairy and pappus, so helps in the dispersal of the fruits. Calyx also attracts insects when it is colored. Now we will study corolla or the petals. This is the second whorl and it is larger in size. It is inner to the calyx, colored and scented. So if all the sepals, they are free from one another, then the condition is known as polypetalous. Petalous word is used here. So it is poly means free, petalous means petals. So for example, in a rose, if they are united, all the petals they are united, then the condition is known as gamopetalous. For example, in datura. Now what are the functions of corolla? So it attracts insects and it is scented. So it will attract the insects. If the petals they are fused in the lower portion, it will have nectar for the attraction of the insects. In case of in the early bud condition, petals protects the inner organs like stamens and carpels. Now, perianth, flowers without a calyx and corolla, they are not differentiated. The difference between the calyx and corolla, that is not clear. It is known as perianth. So, perianth, in case of perianth, the elements in this case are called tepals. So, if they are colored tepals, then it is known as petaloid tepals. If they are green in color, then they are known as sepaloid tepals. Next is estivation, mode of arrangement of petals or sepals in a flower bud in respect to one another is known as estivation. So ਇਸ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਕਿਸ ਤਰ੍ਹਾਂ ਦੀ arrangement ਹੈ flower petals ਦੀ on the thalamus is known as estivation. So first type है velvet. Here ਇਹਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ sepals ਜਾਂ petals they do not overlap one another and they are very close to each other and there is no overlapping. Overlapping बिल्कुल नहीं है. For example in Calotropis as well as Mimosa and Acacia. दूसरी टाइप है estivation दी twisted. Here the petals or the sepals they overlap the next sepal or petal. इस तरह एक overlap कर दिया दूसरे नु. So here one margin of the petal overlaps the adjacent petal lobe and the other margin is overlapped by the adjacent petal. So for example, in case of Nerium, China rose, cotton, hibiscus. Now third type of estivation is imbricate. The margins of the sepals or petals overlap one another but not in any definite direction. Irregular pattern है ਇਹਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ. So we can say that there is no pattern in it. For example in Acacia and Begonia. Next is vexillary. Here the largest petal overlaps the two lateral petals which in turn overlap the two smaller petals. For example in case of pea and bean. These are the different types of estivations. So estivation, we can say the arrangement of the sepals, petals, perianth with respect to one another in the flower bud. So we have discussed all these. We'll study the third whorl of the flower, that is the androecium. It is the male part of the flower. It is the fertile part, and it consists of anther as well as filament. So this is the anther and this portion is the filament, and together they form the stamen. So all the stamens, they are called androecium. So now we will study structure of the androecium. It is the male reproductive part with one or more stamens. If they are free from each other and all the stamens, they are free in the androecium, then the condition is known as polyandrous. For example, in Brassica. Now if the filaments of the stamens, they are united with the petals, then the condition is known as epipetalous. For example, in the Datura, Petunia and Brinjal. There are three parts of the stamens, that is filament, anther and connective. So this is the filament, this is the anther, and both the anther lobes, they are united by the connective. Now we will study filament. So filament is the stalk of the androecium, so that bears the anther at the tip for the better dispersal of the pollen grains. Stamens are united by the filaments and anthers are free, then the condition is known as adelphous. So if they form one group then it is known as monoadelphous, for example in hibiscus. Now if they form, they are fused in two groups, then the condition is known as diadelphous. For example in pea. Polyadelphous, if they are fused in more than two groups, then it is known as polyadelphous. For example in citrus, example lemon. Now anther. Anther is the swollen fertile part of the stamen. It consists of two chambers, and inside the chambers there are the pollen grains. So if there are two lobes in the anther, then it is known as dithecous. For example, in case of sunflower and petunia. If there is a single lobe, then it is known as monothecous. For example, in family Malvaceae. When anthers, they are united, but the filaments are free from one another, but anthers, they are all united, then the condition is known as syngeny. For example in sunflower. Here we will see different these stamens like monoadelphous, diadelphous, polyadelphous and syngeny. So they are in one group, it can be in two group or in many groups. Now we will study gynoecium. So gynoecium is the fourth whorl of the flower, and it is the female reproductive part of the flower. So here the female reproductive part consists of ovary, style and stigma. Style and stigma of the pistil. So style is narrow, elongated, thread-like structure that connects the ovary with the stigma. So stigma is the terminal part of the carpel which receives the pollen grains during pollination, and it also provides a place for the pollen germination. Stigma is rough and sticky in nature. The lower swollen portion of the pistil is known as ovary. Each chamber of ovary consists of one or more small globular structures called ovules or megasporangium. So ovules, they are soft fertile, they are produced on the soft fertile tissue, parenchymatous tissue called placenta, and Here the ovules, they are born on it. So they show different types of arrangements within the ovule, that is known as placentation. Ovary contains one or more chambers or loculi. So ovary with one chamber is known as unilocular, for example in pea. It may have two chambers, then it is known as bilocular, for example in brinjal. Ovary has three chambers, then it is trilocular, for example in castor ocimum. It may be pentalocular, having 5 chambers, for example in hibiscus. Now on the basis of free and fused carpels, the gynoecium is of the following types. It may be apocarpus. Apocarpus means there are 2 or more carpels in a gynoecium which are free from one another, and the condition is known as apocarpus, for example in buttercup. It can also be syncarpus. In this, 2 or more carpels, they are fused to form compound ovary, for example in petunia. So here it is apocarpus and syncarpus according to the nature, whether this gynoecium is free or fused. Now recapitulation. So what is a complete flower? Complete flower is a flower with all the 4 essential whorls. So these are non-essential whorls as well as essential whorls. Non-essential whorls are calyx and corolla. So outermost whorl called calyx, its units are sepals, and its function is to protect the inner floral whorls in the bud condition, whereas inner to the calyx is corolla. It is formed of petals. Its function is in pollination and protection of the inner whorls. Now the essential whorls, these are the androecium and the gynoecium. Androecium is the male part of the flower. It consists of stamens. Each stamen consists of anther, connective and filament. So its main function is in reproduction, and it is the male reproductive part of the flower. Gynoecium is the 4th whorl, and its units is carpels. Each carpel consists of ovary, style and stigma, and its function is in the reproduction, and it is the female reproductive organ. So this completes the topic flower. Thank you.